Welcome back, folks, to a brand new video.
Cheese, tulips, and canal houses. Most of the almost 20 million yearly visitors to the Netherlands only hit up just a few sites in and around Amsterdam before they disappear to the next European capital. But there are so many other beautiful places, such as towns, villages, maybe even a few medieval castles. So in this video, we're going to highlight several places that I highly recommend that you should visit. So let's take a look at some of the most beautiful places in the Netherlands. First up in this video is to visit the wonderful Lisse. And it's actually one of the most famous flower towns in the Netherlands. Now, there are many places around the country to view the beautiful flowers, but the Keukenhof Gardens, which opens from March to May, and the fields around the town of Lisse are an absolute sure thing. I mean, even at its peak around mid-April, when you have the annual parade of the flower floats that will travel from Noordwijk to Haarlem, with a stop at the Keukenhof along the way. It's definitely a must-see if you do get the chance, and a perfect time actually, because it is just before the summer season. One of my favourite cities throughout Europe is the charming Dutch city of Delft. And it often flies under the radar, but it kind of offers quite a number of experiences for those of you who want to visit. It's known for its picturesque canals, its historic architecture, and a very vibrant market square. It's also famous for Delftware, which is an iconic blue and white pottery, which I never knew. And you can also explore the Royal Delft Museum. But it's the city's canals that are lined with quaint houses, the bustling cafes, which provide that perfect backdrop for a leisurely boat tour or a peaceful stroll. Rotterdam. A bit like Amsterdam's little sister, being the second biggest city in the Netherlands. Now, this is a perfect day trip from the capital. And while a large part of the city was kind of destroyed during the Second World War, Rotterdam was rebuilt into a hub for modern architecture. But I think spending 24 hours in Rotterdam gives you more than enough time to see some of the main highlights. So start by checking out the observation tower. You can even sleep inside. But make sure to stop by the cube houses, which can only be found in Rotterdam and Helmond. Because of their unique design, they attract quite a bit of attention. Often named as the Venice of the North, a magical village where canals replace streets and boats, which are the main mode of transport. Giethoorn, an idyllic place that's all about peacefulness and beauty, not forgetting the thatched roof houses, the lush gardens, and the tranquil waterways. So make sure you rent a boat or canoe and glide through the picturesque canals, or simply just take a walk along the footpaths. Now, the village will be busy in the summer. It's literally unavoidable. And I won't lie, it's kind of annoying. But if you do get the chance to go, I still highly recommend it. But there's also a museum that can take you through all the fascinating history of the area. Plenty of artifacts and handwritten letters, so try and check that one out.
Amsterdam, one of Europe's most popular tourist destinations. Amsterdam is widely known for its party atmosphere and its cannabis practice. This city offers so much more for all travellers, such as its beautiful canals, the historical buildings, world-class museums, and of course famous attractions like the Anne Frank House. It's quite easy to get around, especially with public buses, trams, metro lines, and of course the bicycles. I think it's a great weekend city break if you have the chance to visit. The highlights for me are of course the canal system. Sightseeing for me in this city is probably one of the best, because you never know what you're going to come and see. Now, I think Amsterdam is a great city break over the weekend, because you can cram in a lot of activities regardless of what you're interested in. It always has something there for you to do.
And now we come to a site that's synonymous with the Netherlands. The iconic 18th century windmills, which are in fact a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Kinderdijk, a quintessential Dutch village, and an absolute must visit if you want to experience the Netherlands' iconic windmills. So it's set in a very serene landscape, crisscrossed by canals, and it's like stepping into a postcard. So the area boasts 19 windmills, each with its own story and charm. And you can walk along the paths, take a boat tour, or even pop into one of the windmills to see how they work. So it's a perfect spot for a bit of a peaceful day trip, especially as you get a taste of Dutch heritage and engineering. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, if you do love your cheeses, then you cannot miss Breda. But did you also know the city is actually famous for its pottery and waffles? But back to cheese for a moment. If you're in town and lucky enough to go on a Thursday, make sure you head to the cheese market that's held in a beautiful town square up until midday from April to August. So if you time it right, folks, you will really get a taste and feel for the city. Welcome to Jean-Claude Zandam, a quirky and yet colourful town that often feels like an open-air museum of Dutch industrial heritage. It's just a short trip from Amsterdam, but it's known for its Zanzerchans, an area where you can wander among historic windmills, traditional wooden houses and artisanal workshops. So this, folks, is where you can see how wooden clogs are made, taste freshly made cheese, and explore the history of Dutch trades. But the town itself has a busy centre with lots of modern amenities, so you're kind of getting the perfect blend of old and new. Plenty of direct trains from Amsterdam, so get out of the big city and bring yourself to Zandam. And not so far away, we come to the next location, Maastricht, a picturesque village formerly an island in the Zuiderzee, now connected to the mainland by a causeway. And this is quite a charming escape into traditional Dutch life. You will notice the wooden houses painted in dark green and white, which are perfectly preserved, giving you the village storybook feel. Overall, you can just wander through the narrow streets, visit the local museums to learn about the island's unique history, or take a boat trip to Volendam for more scenic beauty, which comes next. So Volendam is known as the Pearl of the Zuiderzee, which is a fishing village founded in the 14th century, located just 20 kilometers northeast of Amsterdam. So it's also known for its colourful wooden houses, and it's become one of the most popular tourist destinations in the Netherlands. So this small town depends on fishing and tourism. So it's another place where you can take long strolls along the waterfront, enjoying the fresh seafood at one of the many cozy restaurants, or explore the charming streets that are filled with local shops. Now what you'll find here is that the town's pretty architecture and well looked after streets are the highlight of this location. Number 11 takes us to the perfect destination for anyone that wants to visit the country and to escape the hectic life of the big cities. Surprisingly, there are large white sandy beaches, breathtaking sunsets, and great food here. And these are just a few of the reasons why you should visit this small Dutch island. Now, according to the locals, Texel is one of the most beautiful places in the country. Now, Den Bosch is the capital, and it's home to almost half of the 14,000 inhabitants of Texel. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that it's also a very vibrant village. Number 12 is a destination I'm pretty much sure that you are not visiting. The city is crisscrossed with canals and dotted with monumental churches. There's even Renaissance-era gardens, and not forgetting warehouses that are dating back to the 16th century. So Groningen is actually packed with history. It's also one of the country's main university towns, so the city has a surprisingly forward-thinking nightlife. So this is a great city break because most of the action happens around the big market square. So if you do visit Amsterdam, give this one a try. Perfect city to go if you loved Amsterdam, but don't want to get sucked into the world that is just Amsterdam and that's it. Best known for its dynamic city square, it's also home to a wonderful church, a cathedral, and the old fortifications, which are huge draws for visitors right here. Even many annual festivals take place right at the city square, with local favourites arriving in autumn or winter. Plenty of cafes and hip bars, and of course the interesting galleries. And even if you want to get your caffeine fix, there's a place where you can browse books, and it's also a former church that's now used as a bookstore with a coffee shop inside. capital city of the province of Zeeland in the Netherlands, and is one of the places that you must visit if you want to see the beauty of the country. This city dates back to the 9th century, and right in the heart is the glamorous building, the City Hall. If you're able to go on a tour, you might as well go to the mighty Abbey. And from there, you can scale the 207 steps of the Abbey Tower, and you will be rewarded with a fantastic view of the city. Of course, later on you can stroll around, taking in the atmosphere and sampling local life and its delicacies. With at least 1,200 landmark buildings, many of which have been incredibly renovated, Middelburg is a city with plenty to see for everyone. Next up is Leeuwarden. The city of Leeuwarden is a city with an exciting history and a vibrant future. It's the capital of the province of Friesland and is located in the northern part of the country. Perhaps the most famous, or rather infamous, individual to come from Leeuwarden was the dancer turned spy Mata Hari, who was later executed by the firing squad in France on charges of espionage for Germany. It's a town filled with ancient monuments and beautiful architecture, and is a great place for a quiet and interesting holiday. One thing you should definitely do is check out the Leaning Tower of Leeuwarden. You can climb the 183 steps to enjoy the view of the city from the top.
Dordrecht. One of the oldest cities in the Netherlands, and one with an interesting past. A stroll around the historic centre is an absolute must, and a delightful one. It's perfect as a day trip, avoiding the crowds of Amsterdam. But you can take the day trip from either Rotterdam, The Hague, Breda, or even Delft. A city with beautiful canals, picturesque warehouses, and stunning views. It's like you step back in time, but it's also a city that's often overlooked. The island's key location along 5 rivers enabled it to grow as a commercial successful and port city. Although part of it was destroyed during World War II, however, the city remains one of the most picturesque.
For number 17, we're heading to Breda. This is a city that's located in one of the provinces that's not often visited by us tourists, and it's named the Pearl of the South Breda. Dates back to around 1125 and was nothing more than just a small village at the time. But when you do wander through, you will discover courtyards, beautiful streets, and even a castle. So if you do manage to go, try visiting the Bergenhof. Next up is Wal. Some of the most beautiful places in the Netherlands are the Hanse towns. Now, these century-old towns and cities were part of the Hanseatic League, which was a commercial and defensive confederation. Market towns, merchant guilds,
in northwestern and central Europe. And Zwolle used to be one of them. It's a surprising city, from incredible buildings to regional type of foods. So one of the things you have to do is visit the Museum du Fond d'Arte. So it's a museum for fine arts and has a very interesting building that you have to admire. Welcome to the mid-sized city of Leiden. It's near the coast and just south of Amsterdam. The city is home to several large universities, hence lots of students. So you'll find plenty of bars and restaurants around the city and supposedly a very good nightlife, but apparently not compared to that of Amsterdam. Now, I can't exactly tell you how good it is because it would be very creepy for me to go out to a nightclub solo. But like many other Dutch cities, Leiden is built on the water. There are beautiful canals which you can explore by boat, and you will notice the historic architecture in the city, which is definitely a highlight. The buildings date back as far as the 17th century. And there are a lot of museums and art galleries, so there are even more things to do here. So I think this city is a perfect choice if you want to avoid larger cities but are still looking for many cultural activities. Willemstad in Noord-Brabant has the charm of a storybook village. And it's with a small historic quaint harbour. Now the history here in the area dates back thousands of years ago, and now you will find yachts which are snugly parked side by side, and within a few metres of the dock is a row of restaurants where you can overlook the harbour while enjoying a quite relaxing lunch. There's even a stately white windmill. So this former flour mill is now a magnificent private residence. I mean, imagine that. And finally, we end with the city where a few mofos from this world need to end up, The Hague. A city where history and the modern side blend seamlessly together, with the perfect location being on the Dutch coastline. It might not be a stop for many while visiting Amsterdam, but it does offer a more of a relaxed experience. There are charming streets where you'll be surrounded by grand embassies, elegant mansions, and even world-class museums. And as I mentioned, the city's coastal location means you're just a short tram ride away from the wide sandy beaches. So I think this is a great day trip to go on. And there you have it, folks. That was the Netherlands. There's only one thing to say: get your ass to one of these locations and enjoy yourself. Thanks for watching, and thanks for supporting the channel, and I'll see you all on the next one.